if I'm not teaching that week, someone just sent me an email about this coming Sunday's talk and a question. I'm like, I have no idea what you're talking about.
If I'm not saying those words out loud on Sunday, how could I possibly help
I edited
you?
the better probably 3 weeks ago or
Right.
like, Anyway.
Yeah, the challenge of being so forward thinking.
Oh, that's
right?
what it is, yeah.
That's us. All right, you ready?
No, I think it's the challenge of not being able to keep everything in your brain.
Well, that's...
My brain, I mean, not your brain.
Yeah, please speak for your own brain. You ready?
Yeah, are we going already?
I think so.
Oh, I thought...
Have we been rolling?
I thought he turned...
He turned it off and then back on, I think,
Oh.
after we changed.
Oh, does that make it like a new file or something?
Yep.
I don't know how this newfangled stuff works. I'm
It-
like, but the tape is just still
Right,
rolling in there.
it turns that tape into...
like turns it to the other side of the cassette.
Yeah, it turns it over. It turns the cassette over so you can record on the other side.
Okay.
All right. Hey, everybody. Welcome to the Big Idea Podcast. My name is Eric Bramlett, and I am joined by...
Tammy Melchien.
How you doing today, Tammy?
Good. Just
Good.
realizing my shoes are squeaking, so hopefully it's not
You know,
too much of that.
it is a problem, and we're going to try to push through.
All right. I think I can do it. if
We'll
you
do
can
the best we can with what we have. We are excited about a brand new series. This is the series that has so much good stuff in it. It's got child dedications. It's got Show Up Sunday. It's got Celebration Generosity. It's got baptisms. I mean, this is...
It has giraffes.
Giraffes. It has monsters. It is like the kitchen sink series for Community Christian Church. If you just only wanted to know the things that we're excited about, this is the one. And in fact, not only does it have that, it has that and so much
More.
Yes, that's right. Thank you, Tammy, for playing along.
Oh, man.
This series is called More. And that's good because last year we simplified with this time slot, and
It was too simple. We need
oh
more.
my gosh, yeah, we need way
I didn't even
more.
think of that.
So
That's hilarious. Oh my gosh. Simplify. More.
simplify.
Simplify.
What
More.
were we thinking? Let's just do more. So yeah, we are excited. It's
Oh,
it's a
gosh.
great series, and Tammy is going to talk about it with me, and so we're going to do that right now. First of all, overall, where are we headed with the series called More?
Well, the sense in you look around our world and things can seem so discouraging, and sometimes we even in our own life feel discouraged about stuff, and you have that there's got to be more than what I'm experiencing, and so this series is going to say, you know what, there is more. There is more, and it's found in a relationship with Jesus, and it is going to be a 3C series. And we are, sometimes when we do 3C series, a lot of times we've done them in January, and a lot of times they're, in some ways we're focusing more on people who are already Christ followers and like challenging what is your next step, go deeper, and all of that. We'll still be doing that in this series, but yet we also really want to have our focus cued on the fact that hopefully we will have lots of first-time attenders coming for this series because of Show Up Sunday and various ways that we're inviting personally, or maybe even marketing campaigns that are going on, and people who have never heard of the 3Cs before, people who don't know what it means to have a relationship with God, and so we really want to make sure that we are focused primarily on that as the audience for this series.
That's great. I love it. Yeah, and more is the quality, maybe more so than the quantity, I guess.
Yes.
So
Very
yeah.
well said.
So with that in mind, then we start with week 1, which is Show Up Sunday, September
It is.
16th, and this title is More Life.
More life, and that Jesus offers us a more blessed life than we could ever imagine. And so in this one, we're going to talk about, like most of us, even those of us that are Christ followers, we can find ourselves like chasing the good life. Like we want the good life, and we have this picture of what that means. And usually when we say that, we mean like a life of comfort and abundance, a life of privilege and
Stability.
and the truth is most of us never arrive at that good life. But even those of us who do find that it just doesn't live up to the promise of what we thought. And so we still carry around this nagging sense, like there's got to be more. Like we feel this desire for something more. And so in here, we ask, isn't there more than this? And the answer is yes.
Okay.
That's all we're going to say. No.
All right, good. Moving on.
But there is so much more life to be lived than what we just think of as maybe the American dream. And so in this message, we are looking at, first of all, in John 1, we're told that Jesus was from the beginning. He was the Word, and life, like he was life. Like life was in him. That Jesus is the source of life. And then, if you fast forward to John 10:10, he says it's this life that he came to give us, that we would have this life and have it to the full. And so we're gonna kind of reframe what, helping us think differently about what is really life, what is really living. Yeah. And not only that, this, to try to describe what this life is that Jesus came to give us, but also, we're probably going to look at the Beatitudes in this message too, but not in the way, like a lot of times when people read the Beatitudes, they want to parse each one, and I'm not sure that's really the way Jesus intended it. I think they're really meant to be looked at as a whole, and what he's trying to communicate here is the good life, the blessed life is available to everyone. And it's not, the Beatitudes are not like, these are the behaviors they're supposed to do, so you should mourn. You should. Right. It's like, no, the people who are already in these conditions can have the good life, can have the blessed life. And that would have shook people up of, wait a minute, I thought you needed to have this and this and this in order to be blessed. And he's saying, no. Right. The blessed life is available to everybody, no matter what you're going through and what you're dealing with.
Now I see here too that we're kind of bringing back some of the compare and contrast between Zoe life.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, I think we
bios.
might. Yeah, we went back to the finding your way back to God stuff and looking at it as a way to try to explain the type of quality of life that Jesus wants to give us. So I did put a note in here, not that I'm making all the choices for you, Big Idea Factory, but right. I think it's Show Up Sunday, so I pretty confidently can say we're going to want a Finding Your Way Back to God testimony.
Having a story of life change that's told through video is a very positive thing for that week, for sure.
And we, in some way, I think either near the end of this talk or maybe even some creative element or something, again, thinking of people that when you say the 3 C's, they'll have no idea. I think we want to figure out how to set up the rest of this series in that, while Jesus walked on this earth, he told us how to find this life. And so at the end of this message, we want to cast vision for a life that is shaped around 3 relationships, what we call the 3 C's. And that's what we're leading into the rest of the series.
No, that's good. That's strong. I love it. All right. It's a great Show Up Sunday. Certainly you can confidently communicate to people that it's going to be a fantastic day. So week 2 then.
Okay.
The also Show Up Sunday. Why would you think that you would only show up once? You should come back.
And a lot of people will, because they had such a great experience.
That's right.
The first week.
And so then this week reflects the Celebrate C, but it's called More Joy.
More joy. So Jesus offers us more joy as we remain closely linked to him. So again, and you may have noticed, I think maybe I mentioned this in the series opener here too, we're looking at teachings of Jesus in this series. And so in this one, we're going to go to John 15 and his teaching about the vine and the branches, and his instruction there about remaining in him. And the last line in our text here is he tells us all this stuff about remaining in him, of staying close to him, of staying connected to him. He tells us all of this so that we can have joy. And again, that joy may be complete. Yeah. And so that's the reason. This joy that we long for, it is found in not in fleeting pleasures that we so often chase after. It's found in being closely connected to him, and that's what Celebrate is all about. So as I mentioned before, in this talk, we don't want to assume that people know what that means, and what it means to have a relationship with God. So we're probably going to go back more to the basics of Celebrate, and we can celebrate daily on our own. We celebrate weekly, as a community weekly, and hopefully frame that for people of, if you want the more life that we talked about and experiencing the more joy, this is a relationship to begin to cultivate in your life.
And it's a good reminder too, that vision leaks. And so every opportunity that we have to delve into these principles, these things that we base all of our ministries on and the direction of the church on, it's important for everyone to hear, because these things do leak over time.
Yeah.
So,
And even for the people that, are existing attenders, people that are Christ followers, again, it's the, okay, what's my next step in, and the farther I go in this love relationship with Jesus, the more joy I experience in his presence. And so we do want to, and I don't know where we'll introduce it, but we do want to bring back that 3C spiritual growth plan tool as something to help people in this. And so again, that can appear in the messages, but if you guys want to also think of other ways that we could be promoting that would be awesome as well.
Very cool. All right, week 3 then is kind of the connect piece. We're talking about more love. It's also our child dedication Sunday.
It's also small group push.
Small group push. Well, yeah, connect. That makes sense.
And this might be where the giraffes are coming.
And then in come the giraffes. So hold on to your wigs. All right, so more love.
So more love, we're continuing with Jesus' teaching in John 15. And I think it's interesting, right after he tells us to remain in him, then he says, my command is this, love each other as I have loved you. And so in part of this talk, we'll probably be going back to some of the way we frame of what is love, and because that God is love, and what does that mean, and so to go back to this Trinitarian concept of communal love, and the way that God in 3 persons is constantly in this community with himself, and that Jesus part of the reason Jesus came is so that we would learn to experience that kind of love and live in that kind of community relationship, not just with him but with each other. And so he gives us this command, love as I have loved you. And then he goes on to say, obviously, Jesus demonstrated that by laying down his life for us. And so the question that the heart of this message is going to be, what does it look like for us to lay down our lives for one another? Because none of us are going to be called to be on a cross.
Right.
So Jesus didn't mean that, but he told us to love the way that he loved, and talked about laying down his life. So what does it look like day in, day out, practically, for me to lay down my life for the people in my life? And then to come to understand that picture of what that looks like is what we're meant to experience in biblical community with one another in the church. And so that'll lead us to we feel like one of the best ways to live that out is by being in a small group, and a big small group push for that.
Oh, that's great. No, that's good stuff. And every time you were talking about what is love, I was thinking about A Night at the Roxbury, and that's a totally different thing. But we'll figure it out. Also, more love. I keep wanting to sing "More Love, More Power," which was like
that's
super
an old praise chorus.
I know, it just goes right into my head, and then it's like in that minor key, so it just keeps on going on and on forever. So I've got some things to work out. Yeah, I've got some things to work out in my brainstorming.
Didn't you do that as a round sometimes too?
Oh, it's like it can't be stopped.
We're dating ourselves right now.
Yes. Well, better that than each other. All right. So that's Connect, and small group push, child dedications, a lot of stuff going on with this service, but excited about what it could mean for people who literally have never been in a small group before. Week 4 then, Celebration Generosity. Yes.
October 7th.
Year 11.
I didn't realize that date until
Celebration Generosity. What, is there something significant about October 7th?
Well, it's my parents' anniversary, but it's also
anniversary.
the day when I was 8 years old that I got baptized.
Oh, nice.
October 7th. Yeah.
That's great.
Kind of my spiritual birthday. So bring me presents of lots of celebration
maybe you
generosity.
could be the 5th team or something.
No, I meant they could give to Celebration Generosity
on your behalf?
Of my
that's
birthday.
good. Okay.
In lieu of gifts.
In lieu of gifts. Okay. I thought you were pulling for gifts.
No.
I got it.
All right. Yes, this is Celgen, and Jesus offers us the opportunity of more impact together than any one of us could on our own. And so, the teaching portion of this will be very short. The majority of this will be videos about
We'll be teaching through video.
Yes, through the in-person teaching part of this will be very short.
Yeah.
But we decided we're going a little away from the teachings of Jesus because we realized that most people won't even realize that's what we're doing. So,
So no skin off your back if you accidentally don't do it on this week.
This week is so different than the other ones as well.
Sure.
But we had that idea of like, there's a lot of things in my hands that can be okay, but in someone else's hands can be amazing.
Sure.
For example, and because I'm from Cleveland, my hands basketball, okay. LeBron James hands.
0-4 in the finals.
That. Yeah,
Oh wait.
Yeah, that right there.
You meant amazing also.
I did.
Yeah. Okay. Got it.
So you get the idea there, and so you have this little story here where you've got the disciples. In a different gospel account, it speaks of a little boy having this,
Right.
but in this account, the disciples say, well, here we've got 5 loaves and 2 fish, and so in their hands that didn't look like much. But when they put it in Jesus' hands, it became something amazing.
Yeah, 5 loaves and 2 fish become something amazing.
Something miraculous even. Mm-hmm. And that's really what Celgen is about. You look at, we all have something in our hands, and what I wrote in here is like, what you have in your hand may not seem that all amazing. What in my hand certainly is not all that amazing. But if together we put it into Jesus' hands, we can see something miraculous happen. Yeah. And so that's the more impact that we can have together on this weekend.
Yeah, and again, I feel like I'm doing all the reminders to everyone about this is the first time, but a reminder about Celebration Generosity, first time givers. We have our largest grouping of first time givers happen at Celebration Generosity. So it's not to be phoned in or just sort of relied upon for it to kind of do its magic. And this is true for the weeks that are prior to it as well. The promotion, the communication, everything leading up to Celebration Generosity, all of that, it takes all of that to make this Sunday happen. So make sure that all of that is taking place, and that we're doing all the things we can do to communicate about this day, because it really is. I mean, we've seen it first. I've seen it firsthand, and I mean a lot of us have, where you can literally see the change that has happened as a direct result of community's generosity in this. So you can get pretty excited pretty quickly about it. So hopefully we will on that week as well. So, all right. So then week 5, this a 5-week series concludes with more hope as we take a look at the contribute piece. And we also have all church baptisms to celebrate on that day.
So that's going to be awesome.
Yeah.
And I love that actually this series idea, the concept for it first came from Lucas. And,
Thank you, Lucas.
I have to say, when I first read more hope, I'm like, I don't know if that's the right word for contribute, because it's like, shouldn't it be more purpose or more?
Sure.
But then the more I got thinking about it, I'm like, oh my gosh, I love that, thinking about that, more hope. And so, the text we picked was Jesus teaching, he says, I am the light of the world. Whoever follows me will never walk in darkness, but will have the light of life. I mean, that's a statement of hope. But then, if you go back to the Sermon on the Mount, he says, you are the light of the world. Mm-hmm. And so, we're going to develop that light metaphor, light darkness metaphor, because it's interesting. It's like, not only has Jesus become the light leading us to hope, but then he says, okay, you are to go now be the light for the world, leading the world to hope. And so, and again, in that Matthew 5, he says, let your light shine before others so that they may see your good deeds. And that's not, like when I read that, it's like, it's not, so that they think you're awesome. Right. It's more, no, like when we contribute and we do things like, we actually get off our butt and do things right. and contribute. Those are the good deeds that end up pointing people back to God. Mm-hmm. And so what we're going to, do with this is challenge people to look, like, what role are you playing in shining the light? Whether it be, shining a light in here, like within the church walls when people come, so that you're helping them find their way back to God, or out in your communities, your workplace, like what ways are you contributing to bring light and so that you're bringing hope to places where there is darkness. And well, we'll end up transitioning, since this is all church baptism. We'll make sure and keep a big, good chunk of the the message there to prep for the baptisms, but we can talk about how today we're going to get to celebrate with people who are taking hold of that hope and kind of declaring that they are going to be followers of Jesus.
And light bearers.
Light bearers, yeah, that's good.
Nice.
And so we'll do the whole, ramping through everybody's excuses and why they should get baptized.
We've got your towels. We've got change of clothes. We've got all that good stuff. No, that's great. That's fantastic. I mean, if you think about this whole series and just the way that it's shaped to give people a clear understanding of the 3 C's, an opportunity to give financially in a significant way, all 5 weeks, but in particular celebration, generosity, and then to go public with their faith with baptisms. This is good stuff here. This is really good stuff.
So the next series is like 12 big ideas long. Are we gonna you need to block out like 2 hours for your...
Oh my gosh, that's a good question. So yeah, Turn the Page is the next series.
I think we'll do it
and
in
it's
sections.
a 12-week series.
I think we'll do it in sections.
I think we should do like a marathon.
Nobody's gonna want to sit down and watch.
They're not gonna watch it in a row. We can give them pause time. But I think we should just commit to
I don't know, my back's already hurting.
Well, okay. Well, I guess we'll figure that out next time. But for this time, looking forward to the brainstorms. I think it's going to be an exciting series, and I can't wait to see what God does. For the Big Idea podcast, I'm Eric, and this has been Tammy, and we are saying so long, everybody.